Hey guys. Alright, today what we want to look at is I want you to take a look at what's up here. You don't have anything to write down yet. This isn't on your paper. I just want to look at this one right now. We have two lines that we're comparing. So let's take a look. Let's start with the green line. We want to find the slope and a y-intercept. So I want you to think about this. Obviously the easiest thing to find, y-intercept. There at 0, 2. So we've got that so far. From that, we can find our slope. We've got a point there, you've got one up here, you've got one down here, it doesn't matter. You just need 2 points. And again, changing y over changing x. Start at the point farthest to the left. Up 3, to the right 1. So up 3, you're changing y. To the right 1 is you're changing x. So our slope is 3. We want to write this in slope-intercept form. So we'll write y equals 3x plus 2. So that's the first line. Y equals 3x plus 2. For the next one, y-intercept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Y-intercept 0, 6. We got a point there. We got another point over there, another one over here. They're all over the place. We just need 2 points on that line. We can choose this one and this one. Start farthest to the left. So again, changing y over changing x. Start at that point, go down 1. So that's going to be a negative 1. And 3 units to the right. So for this, our slope is negative 1/3. So the equation is going to be y is equal to negative 1/3 x, then plus 6. Alright, so I want you to kind of take a look at these and really pay attention to the slopes. That's going to be important as you look at these two lines. So, from here, let's go to your paper. This is what you're going to start drawing. So let's start with the first one. Slope of 3 over 2 and a y-intercept of negative 2. So, start with the point 0, negative 2 right here. Then at this time, changing y over changing x. The nice thing about this, it's already written as a fraction, so it's good. Leave it as is. Changing y is 3, so that means up 3. Changing x is 2, so to the right 2. Up 3 to the right 2. Up 3 to the right 2. Start drawing that, and you should get a line. So that's the first line. Now, let's try the next one. Blue line, then we're going to draw slope of negative 2/3 and a y-intercept of 4. So, first the y-intercept, 0, 4. Got that on there. Changing y over changing x, negative 2 over 3. Remember, we put that negative sign in the numerator. So, from our y-intercept, 0, 4, we're going to go down 2 to the right 3. Down 2 to the right 3. So on and so forth. And as you notice, there's your line. Again, I want you to compare and think about those slopes and what these lines look like. So, what we're going to talk about today is something known as perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines, as you've talked about before and you've seen in the past. Perpendicular lines, there is a sign we use for perpendicular lines. The sign for a perpendicular line is like an upside down capital T. A perpendicular line are two lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle. If you want to write that somewhere on there, I would. Two lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle. Or you can put right angle, whichever you like. Your example that we had here. Both of these lines intersect at a 90-degree angle. If you can't see it like that, turn your paper. So take your paper and kind of turn it like that. Right? That should help you understand that you're looking at a 90-degree angle. So, what is unique about these is their slopes. Their slopes are something we call opposite reciprocals. opposite reciprocals of each other. The slopes are the only things that really change when we talk about perpendicular lines. You take the opposite sign, and you also take the reciprocal of that number. Right? So the opposite reciprocal. Right? So we're going to explain how we're going to do this. So, if you want to find the perpendicular slope, what I do, start off with, is the opposite sign. What's the opposite of negative 3? Well, a 3. So if we want the perpendicular slope, that's what that sign's going to mean. We first need it to be a 3. The second thing is we need to take the reciprocal. Well, remember what 3 is. 3 is a fraction. That's 3 over 1. The reciprocal of that is 1/3. So that's the opposite reciprocal. The next one. The opposite reciprocal of 1. Well, the opposite of 1 is a negative. Right? Well, we make that a fraction. Well, negative 1 over 1 is actually still negative 1 over 1, which gives you negative 1. So the perpendicular slope to 1 is negative 1. That's one of the tougher ones. People have a hard time looking at that one. If you got a question about that, ask me that in class on Friday. Next one, m equals negative 1/3. Well, the perpendicular slope, again, opposite sign, so 1/3. Take the reciprocal of 1/3, you end up with 3 over 1, which is 3. So the opposite reciprocal of negative 1/3 is 3. 2/5. I think these are these are easier. The opposite of that is negative 2 over 5. I think fractions are a lot easier because all you have to do now is just take the reciprocal and you get negative 5 over 2. Remember, we always just put, when it's a negative number, we always just put it in the numerator. The toughest one on here is 0. Now, first off, the opposite of 0 is still 0, so we don't have to worry about that. But this part is where people get confused. Because 0 as a fraction is 0 divided by 1. If you take the reciprocal of 0 over 1, you end up with this, 1 over 0. There's an issue with that. Because you cannot divide by 0. So the actual answer to this is undefined. Now let me explain why. The slope of 0, think about what kind of a line is that? Well, if you had a graph, you would know that is a horizontal line. Well, think about what line would be perpendicular to a horizontal line. And hopefully there's only one that comes to mind. And that would be a vertical line. What is the slope of a vertical line? Undefined. That's where it comes from. So the perpendicular slope to a horizontal line is a vertical line. All right. So next, Miss. Sorry, I'm filming right now. Give me about 10 minutes. All right. All right, guys. Gotta stop right there. Ready? Go. All right. So the next part. Write an equation that is perpendicular to each. We have too many people make this way too hard. This is not supposed to be tough. When you do this, all you have to do is just change the slope. Just have to change the slope. If they don't tell you what the y-intercept should be, you can give it whatever y-intercept you want. So we take the slope. We want to make it the perpendicular slope. The opposite of negative 2 is 2. Well, we treat that as 2 over 1, so we take the reciprocal, we get 1/2. So the new slope is 1/2. So writing this in slope-intercept form, y equals 1/2 x, and any number you want for your slope. It could be 7, it could be 9, it could be negative 3, it could be 0. Because I didn't tell you what it should be. All right. The next one, same basic idea. Write an equation that's perpendicular to y equals 7 over 5x plus 6. Well, perpendicular slope. Take the opposite, you get negative 7 over 5. The reciprocal, flip it, you get negative 5 over 7. And again, any number you want for the y-intercept. So I'm going to say negative 4. Doesn't matter. Where it intersects isn't as important right now. It's just it has to be at a right angle. So that's how you would write an equation that's perpendicular to each of these. Now this is where it starts to become more specific. So write an equation of a line that passes to the point negative 4, 9 and is perpendicular to y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Now this is another one that really confuses some people. So as we look at this, the first thing you want to do is you want to plot the point negative 4 and 9. There's the point negative 4, 9. Alright, so at this point we need to plot a line that is perpendicular to that. So this y 1/2, we need the perpendicular slope. Alright, well, perpendicular slope to 1/2. Well, the opposite of 1/2 is negative 1/2. The reciprocal of 1/2 is negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2. So from here, this is what you can do. On this graph, you can plot down 2 to the right one, down 2 to the right one, down 2 to the right one. Just like this, you can draw your line. And think about it, what do you need to know to write the equation of a line? Your slope, which you've already got, and then the y-intercept, which is at 1. So the equation, the answer to this problem is y equals negative 2x plus 1. The key is understanding what they're asking for. Right? We're always looking for the equation of a line. So the big idea is finding the slope and the y-intercept of that line. Then you can write the answer. So again, same idea. Except for now, you're not given a graph. Now you have to find this, and if you tell, gave you a hint. So, first step, write a function that is perpendicular to y equals negative 2/3 x minus 5. It goes to the point 4, 3. Here's the idea. Again, you need to find the slope and the y-intercept of the new line. Well, the slope of the new line is going to be perpendicular. So, perpendicular to negative 2/3. Let's think about that. The opposite would be 2/3. The reciprocal of that is 3 over 2. So you've got the slope. Now at this point you have the slope and you have a point. Think about what we've done in the past to be able to find the y-intercept given that. And that's where this process column comes into play. You've got a point, 4, 3. You just need to use the process column to find it. Alright, we're going to try it again. So at this point, the slope, which is now 3 over 2, times 4, plus some number has to give you 3. Well, you need to do this off to the side. You can do this. 3 times 4 is 12, times 2 times 1 is 2. That gives you 6. 6 and what gives you negative, or gives you 3? Negative 3. So the y-intercept for this problem is negative 3. So the equation is y equals 3 over 2x minus 3. There you go. Again, if it asks for a perpendicular slope, find the opposite reciprocal, and then find the y-intercept for that problem. You can write the equation of any line doing that. Alright, if you have any more questions, ask me on Friday, and I will get your answers to those problems. Alright guys, have a good evening. Bye.